Welcome to Love Lattes, the podcast designed for women who are ready to stop settling and start living a life full of authentic love, confidence, and real connection. I'm your host, Victoria, the self-love scientist, speaker, and coach, and I'm here to help you reclaim your power, deepen your relationships, and fall unapologetically in love with yourself. So grab your tea, your latte, or your favorite beverage, and let's get started.
Hey, love, welcome back to Love and Lattes. I'm Victoria. In today's episode, let's approach with a little bit of gentleness, no judgment here, because if any of this lands, it doesn't mean you're broken, it means you're human. And I won't lie, I'm kind of calling myself out here, and I might be calling out some other folks too. Today, we're talking about 3 ways you may be accidentally pushing love away without even realizing it. Trust me on this one. And the reason why I wanted to record this episode is because so many of us are doing everything right on the surface. We're self-aware, we're reading the books, we're doing the affirmations, we're in or have been to therapy. I can talk to you about boundaries, love languages, attachment styles, and how your nervous system is a direct reflection of your relationship. And somehow we're still unable to get to love or experience love. Or maybe you are in love and it's starting off strong and it's so hot and heavy, like, fuck yeah. And then it slowly fades. Like, what happened? And we find ourselves thinking, why does this keep happening to me? So, if you've ever felt like you're giving your best, but not receiving it back, you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people, or relationships just feel exhausting instead of nourishing, then this episode is for you. And I want you to understand this as we go about this thing today. And I know I said I called myself out, and I'm calling a couple folks out, and maybe you're going to listen and you are like, oh my God, this totally sounds like my friend. Um, just understand that you're not pushing love away because you don't deserve it. You're pushing it away because somewhere along the way in the past, you learned that it's better to protect your heart. And I completely understand that. I completely see you. So let's talk about it, right? So the first way that you're accidentally pushing love away is you're over functioning in the relationship. Over functioning looks like you're the responsible one. It looks like you're the mature one. It looks like I've got it. But energetically, emotionally, it can quietly push love away. Over functioning means you're the one who's always planning. You're the one who's always talking. You're the emotional manager, and you just adapt to everything. What does this sound like to you? It sounds like you're saying, it's fine, I'll adjust. You're saying, I don't want this to be a thing. Or maybe you're like, I can handle it. Sounds like a people pleaser, doesn't it? And here's the part people don't talk about. When you overfunction in a relationship, you are, it's almost like it feels suffocating, right? They almost feel like, oh, I can't breathe. Literally me right now, because I'm fighting a cold. Um, but when you overfunction, you don't leave any room for the other person to show up. Love requires love, oh my God, I'm gonna say this word wrong. I have my notes in front of me. How did I say this? Love requires balance, right? Love requires that everyone plays their part. And when you do too much, you unconsciously send the message, I don't need you, but choose me anyway. That creates imbalance. And imbalance turns into resentment. It turns into burnout or emotional distance. So why does this push love away? Because when you're with someone who's healthy, they want to contribute. They want to add. People love to feel needed. And when you're dating someone, especially like if you're dating and a man, they want, you ask a man like, "Can you get this for me? Can you do this for me?" Oh, they love to do that. They love it. They want to help you. And people who love you will go to the ends of, they say and they show that they will go to the ends of the world for you, right? Everyone wants to feel needed, but not in a dependent way, in a mutual way. So when you overfunction and you're taking over, it's like you're like, give me the steering wheel. I'll open my own doors. I will decide what's for dinner. I will, let's do it this way. You're going to attract people who underfunction, or maybe you'll exhaust people who want equality. Either way, your connection is going to suffer. So, how can we fix this? So, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, Victoria, I am the control freak, I am the people pleaser, and I just, I get it. Being in control probably felt safe. This is not, I'm not saying you have to do less. I'm just saying maybe start to create awareness, do less automatically. So so here's a few things that you could do, right? Pause, just pause, take a second, let there be some discomfort, kind of sit in that. Let someone else initiate, let someone else plan, or in times of repair, let them. Okay. And emotionally, practice saying in your relationships or if you're dating, I need. Practice saying, I would like. Practice saying, can you support me with? Can you X, Y, and Z? Do you see what I'm saying? You're no longer like hyper independent. You're like, I'm learning, because in a relationship, you need to learn how to rely on each other in different ways. I'm not saying you have to completely stop everything you do and give it over. It's more like, I I would like to include you in this and go from there. Because love will grow when responsibility is shared. It's like, hey, we're pass the controls over to someone else. It's someone else's turn to show you. I've seen this like really cute graphic on Instagram where, for me as I am an independent woman. And then when am, I'm generally drawn and attracted to the man who's like, it's like this picture of the woman who's like, I got it. And then the painting and the man is like, I know, but let me. And I'm like, damn it. Because for so long, you just get so used to, for me, I get so used to being in my masculine, but then when I'm finally with the right person, and when everything else is, set up, and we'll talk about some of those things, um, I know and I notice that if I'm less controlling, it feels really good. I can soften into my feminine, which is my preferred place to be. And then they get to be in their masculine, which is their preferred place. And obviously, like we can talk about balance later if you want, but sometimes the dynamics change and that's okay too. So, number one is you're over functioning. So just take awareness, learn to find out what your needs are, and go from there. Way number two that you're pushing love away. This one's is actually pretty common. You're confusing self-protection with boundaries. Boundaries are meant to create safety for connection, but many of us use boundaries to avoid vulnerability. Vulnerability. Oh my God, help me. Vulnerability. Anyway, yes, that part. And I know I do this. I have. Self-protection sounds like this. I don't need anyone. I'm just very independent. I don't open up unless I'm 100% sure. And let me tell you something. Independence is beautiful. And when you're in a relationship, there's you, there's your person, and there's a relationship. But guess what? Emotional walls are not boundaries. Boundaries say, this is how you can love me well. Walls say, you can't get close enough to hurt me. And when someone feels like they can't access your emotional world, even slowly, they may interpret that as disinterest, coldness, or unavailability, and they're going to pull back. And then you're going to be like, no, 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 don't go. It's like, well, if you won't give me access to you, which is, the emotional availability is part of access to your heart, that is why love gets pushed away. Intimacy requires vulnerability. And if someone feels like they're always reaching and never landing with you, they'll stop. And I understand, you know, it's very, there are many ways as to why you have walls up. I completely understand.
We'll be back after a quick break.
I've been thinking a lot about patterns lately, especially the ones that show up in our relationships. For a long time, mine looked like overgiving, people pleasing, and convincing myself that if I shrink myself down just a little bit smaller, I would be enough. But knowing a pattern and actually breaking it are two very different things. And trying to untangle that alone can feel overwhelming. That's where therapy can help. Having outside support can help you recognize your patterns without judgment and make choices that actually support you. And that's why I'm grateful for today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes therapy more accessible by connecting you with a licensed therapist online so you can get the right support in a way that fits your life and your schedule. Love and Latte listeners can get 10% off their first month of therapy by going to betterhelp.com/love and lattes or by clicking the link in today's episode description. Breaking cycles isn't about fixing yourself, it's about learning to love yourself differently. Understand. Some of us in our previous experiences were dismissed of our feelings. Many of us felt unsafe to express feelings. And sometimes we're with someone who wasn't interested in our emotions in the first place. So yes, in the beginning, it can be so hard and so uncomfortable because you're like, oh God, what? You want to talk about my feelings? And the right person is going to be like, oh my God, hell yes, please. Like, please, I want to protect your heart and I want to nurture and I want to love it. So here's how you can fix this. Practice softening without collapsing or rebuilding those walls. You can say, I feel this. You know, when it comes to being vulnerable, it's so much easier to pretend and to put a wall up and to change character because you don't feel comfortable getting into your feelings. But your person is gonna it wants the best for you. They're gonna want you to try. So try expressing your feelings and saying, you can even start by saying, this is hard, but I want to try. You can also express, especially in the beginning, if you're in something and you know it's good for you and it still is kind of scary, you can say, I'm still learning how to let people in, especially if your heart's been broken, especially if you've had traumatic relationships or experiences in your childhood. Those are all valid. And also, these are things we have to work and heal on. Like being in the right relationship is going to create some serious work. Let people learn how to access you, but please don't make that wall. And like, don't put a wall up and don't make it invisible because if they keep hitting it, they're eventually they're not going to want to be at that wall anymore. Having emotional safety in relationships is one of the most powerful and beautiful aspects of a relationship. And it's probably the least talked about because it's all about attraction and having the same interest and chemistry and all that. That's all grand. But the deep shit, we're talking about deep shit, okay? Because your shit's going to come up and it's going to be very hard and it's going to be very vulnerable, but it's going to make your relationship so much healthier. Trust me on this. Okay, so far we talked about how some of the ways that you could be avoiding love. One, you're over functioning, you're the control freak, love you, and also stop. Number two, you're putting these walls up and you're thinking it's good, like boundaries, like I don't have to express my emotions, please. Soften up, be a little softy. I'm not asking you to do it all the time. I'm just saying your person is gonna want to know all parts of you. And you know the best thing about this, when you start to uncover these things, you're more likely to attract, the right person and they're going to be there. They're going to want to nurture and help you with it. So finally, the third way that you're avoiding your well, the third way, something you're avoiding, but the third way that you're avoiding love, letting love in is you're waiting to feel safe before you're honest. This one is huge because I just talked about a little bit of safety earlier. Many people will say, well, once I feel this, then I'll do this. Well, once I feel, for example, like once I feel safe, then I'll speak up. Uh-uh. No, 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 no. Your body's gonna know before your words will. Emotional safety isn't something you wait for. It's something that you create, something you feel. When you don't express your needs, disappointments, or desires in the beginning, you're going to create a false version of the relationship. And you're training people on what you'll tolerate. And then when the truth finally comes out, it feels abrupt, it feels overwhelming. And for your person, it's confusing. Like, where is this coming from? And it's like, well, I've been thinking about this for a while. Imagine how that's going to land, right? So, why does this push love away? Because unspoken expectations turn into silent resentment. Your partner doesn't get the chance to show up differently because they didn't know. They're not mind readers, and you chose to stay quiet because you wanted to feel safe before being honest with them. So, how do we fix this? Honesty doesn't have to be harsh. It can be grounded, calm, loving, and my favorite, intentional. I love when people are intentional. Like, this doesn't have to be a tough conversation. This is very similar to the walls. So something you can practice is saying, hey, something's been sitting with me. Can I share it with you? I just want to approach this in a very calm manner. I'm not saying this to attack you. I'm saying this for me. I want to be honest because I care. Safety grows through honesty. They work together. Do you see how that works? And again, something's going to come to mind, I'm sure, when you're listening to this and you're like, oh, damn, I could think of a time where I put my foot in my mouth and now you have this resentment, or maybe you're annoyed with your partner and they don't know why. Not everybody knows everything. That's the whole purpose of a relationship is you get to learn each other. But your partner is going to keep doing their thing, until you say something, but it might be too late. And that does a lot more damage than you realize. It's important. It's important to express who you are, what it is you need. And this comes in handy when it comes to learning, you know, letting them learn how to love you. Honestly, it's not just, oh, why are you seem so moody today? It's like, oh, well, you didn't text me good morning, or you didn't check in with me. I don't know, but maybe they were unaware that you need a little more reassurance than before. Or maybe you're confident in yourself, so compliments come well, but maybe you need something else to feel loved. They can't come up with, I mean, they can try and come up with some things, and I'm sure it's fun. Like some women are like, oh yeah, he should know what to do. No, he doesn't. But guess what? You don't either. And that's why you need to have the conversation. So out of the three, which ones really stuck out to you? There might be a chance that all three of them are happening because if you really think about it, it's all about understanding where you are, what your needs are, and do you have the willingness, one, to let go of your control, two, to be a little bit softer, let those walls come down, and three, be really honest with yourself. Do you notice like how the whole point of this episode is like, these are three ways that you're avoiding love because love keeps hitting a wall. But if we're soft, if we speak our truth, then you find yourselves in the right places, the right relationships, and the right people. If you're not honest with yourself and you keep cock blocking yourself or putting the walls up, then you're not going to be in the relationship you want to be in. And you might end up just sitting and stewing and thinking, oh, they're supposed to figure it out for me. No, 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 honey, no. I want you to understand that these things that we talked about today, you didn't learn these patterns randomly. At some point in time, just like we talked about, you learned that at some point this kept you safe, whether it was through heartache, whether it was through trauma, through family, through experiences, media. But the very ideas and experiences and strategies that once protected you may be blocking you from the love that you actually deserve, the love you want. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to continue this anymore. You can become aware and make a choice. And that choice is going to create some changes. And some of those choices are in this episode, all those three ways you can make a change. So start with one, have a conversation, take a pause. Love doesn't require you to be perfect. It does require you to be present and honest and courage. No risk, no love story. Right? Love is like, like the lion's heart, courage, something like that. Please don't quote me on this. So, if today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs it. And also, please leave us a little bit of love so people can find this lovely space. As always, enjoy your latte, keep those boundaries clear and your heart open, and I will talk to you soon.